Hello, hello, hello. This is Katrina Messenger. How's everyone doing? I'm here for this month's Dark Moon message. I sometimes refer to these as my rants, but c'est la vie, c'est la vie, c'est la noir, c'est la posto, c'est la, yeah, whatever. Um, Here we are, and I am not an astrologist. I am, I'm not even sure that I rate on the having to be know enough about astrology to be a witch kind of thing, or a magician, whatever, a mystic, whatever it is that you call me. But I think um, that this is one of those occasions where we really need to be aware of the symbology associated with astronomy and astrology. My tool, my main tool, is what I call critical analysis. Um, and I took that critical analysis of systems and myth and stories and everything, and went to and got it certified as an archetypal pattern analyst. So this is the lens that I'm taking to what is happening to us astrologically or astronomically right now. We currently have 6 planets in retrograde. We're not talking about, all the asteroids or anything. There's some of them are in retrograde as well, but we have Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. At least is that six? One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah. At least all but one of them are the what we call the elder planets, right? In that they're further out from the sun. And we have little Mercury in retrograde, which we get on a regular basis throughout the year. But with all these other retrogrades in progress, what I've been told by those who do understand astrology is that that means for some tough seas for all of us who are trying to get through life on this plane. And so I find that interesting because what makes this something that we pay attention to is the whole concept of retrograde. And retrograde is an interesting concept, even without talking about the planets, because it's not based on what's really happening. It's based on what appears to be happening. And this is the key thing here for retrogrades, is that the planets appear to come to a stillness and then travel backwards. The reality is they have never left their path. They're continuing on their regular way down the elliptical paths that each of them have around the sun. But for us on Earth, what we see appears to be a backwards motion. And because of that, we experience it differently than when we can see it moving forward. And so retrograde is not talking about actual movement, it's talking about um, the illusion of movement. And I find that fascinating. That is a big part of our conversations. Is a Mercury retrograde. And now we got six planets in retrograde, and we're all just losing our minds, right? Well, maybe it's just me, you know. But the thing I wanted to get at is that it's not just planets that have retrogrades, right? We as individuals have retrogrades, countries have retrogrades, the nature has retrogrades. When we are seemingly not moving forward, and in fact looks like we're going backwards. And the entire time, everything is moving as it needs to be. But from our perspective, it seems to be going backwards. And that's exactly the world that we live in right now. Like we thought, well, with the dawn of the online world, those of us who were technologists, that it would help make the planet seem smaller and people would come together more and there would be peace on earth because we were no longer separated by distance. We had the ability to talk to each other and to interact with each other and exchange ideas over the what we came to call the internet or the web. And the reality is, yeah, we got to do all that and we are doing all that, but we seem to be going backwards, right? Human rights abuse, human trafficking, all the non-renewable energy sources being pushed, as if there's some end game where suddenly, we're going to suddenly find this huge reservoir of oil somewhere that we didn't know about, and all our problems are solved, right? We thought we had made forward motion on women's rights, worldwide, right? And what we're finding is women are being killed by morality police in Iran. They're being stripped of their rights and forced, to have to travel overnight and hide from the state police in order to get abortions. Uh, 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 uh. It seems like everything's backing up, and now we have a Mussolini too in Italy, and then we're not even going to talk about Ukraine and Putin. It seems like all that forward progress that we made is suddenly not only standing still, but moving backwards. And so we are in a time, in a period of our lives where it seems like we are in a retrograde. And as above, so below. Like all that progress you made on paying off your bills, and then suddenly inflation, right? And you got to use more credit because you can't afford the things that you would normally buy with cash, right? It's like, oh, you survived the COVID, but now you have to worry about monkeypox and whatever it is that's coming next. There's something coming next. In fact, a couple of somethings coming next. And we are personally and community wide feeling like we can't stand up in the places that we've already arrived. It's like we're constantly trying to do skip up, to catch up, to catch up, to get up, right? And so we are experiencing a retrograde. But here's where that symbol is really important. The planets do not leave their orbits. They do not go backwards around the sun. They do not stand still. History does not move backwards. History moves forward. That doesn't say good, bad, or indifferent, but it always moves forward. Your life may be difficult right now or is about to get difficult right now, but you are still moving forward. Now is not the time to think it was all a waste. It was all for nothing. It was all for naught. We are so close. We're so close to so many things that can make a real difference, not only in your individual life, but in the world at large. If we can get over the illusion of backwards motion, of regression, and realize, no, we're still on track, we can learn a lot through a retrograde. One of the things we used to say is like Mercury retrograde doesn't just mess up communications, it untangles them. Look at the planets that are in retrograde. What would they clear up? Don't fall into the pattern of thinking that everything that looks like it's not, moving where it needs to be is not taking the path that it actually has to take. And there's something to learn from that. Really, take your time. Think about it. Um, I know for myself, I just came out of a really bad illness, not COVID, thank goodness, but I had to think about it, right? It's like, why am I getting so sick? And it has nothing to do with the fact that anything else. It's not like I'm doing or being something that I'm not. It's not that I'm overdoing it. It is simply something is going on in my body that I need to pay attention to. And attaching it to something like I must be doing something wrong or it's retrogression or I'm regressing or means I'm not present for what's really happening. So don't get caught up in the stories about things falling apart in the sense of your life falling apart. Look at what is actually happening. Yes, there are things falling apart, right? And they should. But the things that matter are still moving forward. And the things that will become really important in the coming days, in the coming years, in the coming decades, right? They're still marching forward. So please, 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 retrograde is only from our perspective. It is not the motion of the planet itself. Thank you. Take care. Bless you.